to this show where we're going to dive into the month of April 2024 in the cards and see what Spirit wants to reveal to us about this obviously very powerful month with so much going on in the astrology. Before I get there, I want to wrap us all in love light and light love and invite in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and a host of other spirit guide friends who would like to join me on this adventure. It is a still blizzardy day outside. I like how we've got a little bit of snow coming down. I do like having the window in the background of the video this time. There's little snowflakes falling, although the sun is out. And earlier I was like, what is it when it's snowing and the sun's out? It's like a snowbow instead of a rainbow. It's a snowbow. But there's very intense still winds blowing. Right now, I would say more than anything, the winds are the biggest thing. The winds making it feel really cold. If you listened to, I don't know what I did the other day, whatever I did the other day. We talked about the blizzard coming in and predicting like 1.5 feet of snow. And we did not have 1.5 feet of snow. We had about a few inches of snow, but the winds have been, got pretty consistent, about 25 miles per hour, like consistent with these, 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts or whatever. So the wind chill is very cold right now. Past couple of days, the dog and I went out for a morning walk, and I didn't tell her. I could have made the walk. I felt okay, but she went, did her business, looked at me, and the past couple of days she just went right back to the door. So it's this introspective integration time. I'm recording this the Tuesday right after the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. We're still integrating those energies. Oh, that's the video. That's the show I did last Saturday. I did the next 2 weeks, the eclipse sandwich. But I want to dive into the month of April a little bit with Spirit and just understand there's a lot of different things coming in. And, where to focus, what's it all about? So for the collective that's watching this, I think there's a lot of opportunities in April beyond the things we already talked about in the Eclipse Sandwich video. Much of that show was talking about taking action on things. So, let's see what areas of our life we're being guided to take action on. In addition to this, I think there's three points Spirit wants to make. There's this taking action, like the night, the energy of the nights, and there's this dichotomy of energy right now as well during this time. We're feeling both, the more tuned in you are to Gaia and the planet, the more tuned in you are to the collective energy and the universal energy. And you're not just tuned into half of the planet, you're tuned into the whole freaking planet, right? So if it's spring, supposedly spring, it's cold as crap out there, but it's supposedly spring right now. But on the other side of the planet, it's going into, Samhain season. And so I find myself one day, like yesterday, all I wanted to focus on was darker season decks. And I actually did get, it's so funny, I've been wanting the Trick or Treat tarot for a while. So we're going to pull a card from that. I actually did spend yesterday wanting to look at darker decks. I watched, some movies that I typically would watch around the Halloween autumn season. I was focused very much on wanting, decks about cemeteries, and the ancestors are coming in very closely. And I just finished the Legendborn audiobook, and there's a lot going on right now about oaths and code, like ancient oaths and codes that I want to follow up on as well. And then today I was like, no, I have to do something spring related today. I have to have this balance of energy because up here it really is spring. So I'm like, I don't want to stay in the darker thing right now. So you're going to be feeling this dichotomy of energies pulling you to things that are more like I said, like the ancestors. So taking a look at different, going down a rabbit hole, it feels like. And so let's explore that. And then there's something else in the cards. They're saying, oh, the third one is going to be for twin flames. So if you're not a twin flame, then this, I guess the third point won't be, you won't want to, whatever. You know what I mean? Just hold on. Let's just get started. All right. So let's first start with the first thing we want to, Spirit wants to talk about for April. So I am going to use this Trick or Treat Tarot. Let's get a card for April. What do we folks must need to know? Spirit, what's this first key point you'd like to make? The Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands typically is celebratory, right? But this card came out the other day and I was really intrigued by it because of her costume. And I don't think it's just because I'm reading Legendborn, because I'm not just reading Legendborn and saying, oh, I love Legendborn books so much, I'm going to pull its energies into the month of April. It's more the other way around. It's more Legendborn, the metaphors of Legendborn book, and you don't have to know what it's all about, but it's very clever. Are pulling us into the Grail codes of the month of April. There's a lot about Grail codes, ancestral oaths. I think they're saying it's like starting over. Like all the work we've done, because this costume that this girl has on reminds me of like, Guinevere or something, or like look, she's got a sword. It's like she has her own sword of truth. And I think there's this celebration. There's a celebration around the fact that we've done so much clearing. And with this Libra eclipse that we just had yesterday, we keep hearing all the astrologers like, oh, it's karmic clearing, clearing karma, karmic relationships ending. Libra is 7th house energy, which is all about relationships and partnerships and, one-on-one relationships. And so there's all this stuff that you've done to clear ancestral energies. I think about, I don't even remember when it was now, 2020 or so maybe. Was that when I was working on that? This blood oath that I had taken in a past life with someone else, which really kind of set my whole journey through lifetimes on like a tangent that became about karmic relationships from the past. And I don't know, but whatever it was, I'm not driving it every single lifetime that was about, but whatever it was, Spirit showed me the main points there. And whatever it was, I was able to clear it with the help of, 3D people and spirit people, and get rid of that thing. And thus then set my life on a new timeline. So if I hadn't done that thing back then, so this may be, this may be resonating very deeply with some of you. It may not have been a blood oath, but that Legendborn book too, it was about blood oaths. It was about a blood oath that Bree's ancient ancestor made way back when to protect herself and her unborn child, She spilled her, she cut her hand. She was being like chased by people that were going to probably kill her, like a slave and slave owner type situation. She was pregnant with like the slave owner's baby, and she was a witch, and they called it something different, a rootcraft or whatever, but the basic premise is all the same. She's being chased. She goes into the woods. She says, I need protection. I want my baby and me to be protected. She cuts, oh, I'm getting so many chills. She cuts her palm. She spreads her blood all over the ground, all over the plants, because that's kind of how the rootcraft people work. They use like plants and stuff, and they didn't necessarily use their blood. They used plants and the ancestors to do their magic. But in this case, she felt like she needed to use her blood, and she spread her blood all over the ground, and she made a pact with spirit or whoever it was she was making the pact with, right? That she wanted her and her unborn baby to be protected. And we just so much chills. The spirit came back with that there was going to be a price to pay for that. And she said she didn't care. She was going to pay the price. And they said, well, it's going to be one daughter at a time through time. This blood oath was going to be connected to each daughter throughout her lineage. And she's like, I don't care. I need to be protected. And bam, she just made the oath. And then hence now Bree, I don't know how many hundreds, was it 200, maybe 200 or 300 years later, is impacted by this oath. And I don't want to give spoilers. I don't know when this book is. Maybe some of you've already read it. But it ends up affecting her life now in many ways that she wasn't anticipating at all. And here we are, right? So we're sitting here having done the work that maybe some of our ancestors did in the heat of the moment, possibly. And I'm talking about blood ancestors. And it could have been, I guess it could be past life too. They're kind of all connected, Spirit says. But we're sitting here having done all this work to clear all this crap that people did when they weren't necessarily thinking clearly, or they felt like they had no other choice, right? We're talking about 300 years ago. It was possibly, the darker times. People didn't have access to a lot of high vibe stuff back then. We're talking about slavery and Egyptian times. There was a lot of slavery. There was a lot of slavery stuff going on. There was a lot of slavery in other realms and other lands. And all these things happened. And here we are. We got access. The veil thinned. People started doing their spirit work, right? It's the new golden age coming in. And we got to clear a lot of those things. So many of you watching are advanced. I talked to somebody yesterday who's a little bit like newer on their journey. And I said, you can use my YouTube as an oracle. And they're like, just don't, like, it's over my head. And I was like, okay, that's fine. When you're ready for it, you'll know when you're ready for it. Because I do feel like we pull in a lot of more medium to advanced spiritual practitioners here. So if you're newer, you may be like, whoa, don't know what she's talking about at all. But I know that the majority of you tuning in, and this is my regulars, my OGs, like we've been doing this stuff for a while, right? So here we are in April with this magnetic and magical appearance. It's not just the solar eclipse. There's other things in the astrology. There's all these personal planets moving through Aries. That's a big deal. And there's this Jupiter and I forgot exactly what it is. Jupiter and Taurus conjunct the North Node or something like this. It's not that exactly. I won't say it right. But there's another thing with, I think, Jupiter. Some conjunction it's making. That's a big deal. And if you follow like the asteroids and stuff like Lilith and, some of those other ones that I'm not as familiar with, then there's things going on with them as well. Eros and all those. So astrologers keep saying planets are aligning, planets are aligning, planets are aligning, and to move us forward. So now is the time to make like new oaths, new sacred contracts with yourself or with other people. Maybe you've been kept from someone because of some oath you made, in a past lifetime, or your ancestor made hundreds of thousands of years ago, which is just like this show I was watching too. Is it called First Blood? first kill? Oh, heck, I don't know. But it's the same thing. It's about ancestral oaths and ancestral legacies, which really are like messing up the people in the current day. Anything more we want to say about that? Let me get, like, so what does this mean? Let me get my deck. This is Spring Fling. I don't know where the camera's shown. I'm just kind of going with this. We got the number 3. Well, you are making 3 points. And we got the Hangman. Good things take time. So we have a 3 and a 4 and the Hanged Man. I forgot the number of the Hangman in the tarot. I don't think that's as important. We did just talk about 300 years ago, 3 lifetimes ago. We have the number 3 coming up. We have 3 being a master number. Co-creating with Spirit. Spirit saying they want to make 3 points. I think they want to make 3 points that all have to do around this, like, good things take time. Yeah, and they've been hounding me lately about my patience levels, saying, you know, if you don't go slow, if you don't have patience, you're just going to stress yourself out. Lean into the flow. Everybody here, I think, is just kind of like, you know, kind of like, they're saying you can breathe a sigh of relief. So let's just do that, because this person in this Hangman card is not, they're not, this is my deck, they're not hanging upside down. They're in meditation pose with that third eye and that rainbow over. So they've got this rainbow conscience, that I call it rainbow conscience. But it also comes in with Archangel Raziel and understanding more of the inner mystery school teachings, what I'm calling wizard training. I'm working with some folks on some stuff that I'm calling wizard training. Coming back to who you are. All these packs and things that you've been working to clear, they're like cleared now. And we talked about in the Eclipse Sandwich show about timelines not necessarily being there yet, because especially if it's between you and somebody else. And I don't want to go like all down that again. If you want to, you can pop it back in and watch that show. It's the one right before this. But a lot of it was the timelines aren't getting formed until you and somebody else make the decision to do something together. So if you're like, the example in the thing was like, you meet somebody new, well, you're wanting to meet your person, let's just say, and you can't see ahead of you, so you feel frustrated because you don't know what's going to happen next. But you won't know what's going to happen next because you and that person have not come together yet, and have not made these connections, have not signed these energetic soul contracts, for lack of a better way to put it. And so the future is wide open then. And try as you might with your third eye to see what's going on, you won't. All you can do is project into the future, like your wishes and your visions for what you hope will happen. But the actual timeline isn't there yet. So for many of us on this path, because we've done so much clearing, because we're in this space of like newness, it can be very frustrating because we're on this path that's we've just been being told to like be patient, keep going, be at peace with the unknown, and just keep pushing forward. And it's kind of like, is there this point in time when I'm going to be, in this space where I can actually see my way forward? And they're saying it's coming, but you have to wait a little longer. You have to wait a little longer. Okey-doke. So in the meantime, good things take time. So Spirit's like, just because I feel a little like guilty, like, 'cause all I want to do is look at card decks. And they're like, you know, if you want to look at a freaking card deck, buy another freaking card deck. Like, don't be so hard on yourself, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm buying another card deck. You know, people are going to think I'm crazy. I've got, you know, 14 or 15 card decks now, and they're like, that's really not that many. You know, there was a show somewhere I was watching, somebody who likes to just flip. I'm like, does this person do anything with these decks? They just flip through them. That's all they do. They had 600 decks. I'm like, no, I've told them, Spirit, I'm like, not being that person. But, you know, sometimes I feel a little bad, and they're like, well, what else are you doing? It's not like you're doing anything bad. You know, you just like the art. Like, why are you being so hard on yourself? So, you know, put that with anything. Now, in moderation. Now, I have to say in moderation, because sometimes I'm like, okay, this is the second little flip through video I'm watching. That's it. I'm going to just take a break after this. I want to go do something else. Like, I'm not totally, and I'll cut the cord sometimes to card decks, because I'm like, get away from me. You know, sometimes it's like you're hounding me. So, things are going to take a little bit longer, right? We've cleared all this stuff out of our bloodline and out of our past lifelines. And so it's like it's ripe and juicy now for new beginnings. Do I even dare to ask about timelines? No, they told me yesterday. There was a spread that came with this book, and I was like, will you guys tell me, will you guys be open with me if I ask about timelines? And they said they would not. I was like, well, fine, because my journey is supposed to be about having patience. All right, what's the next key point? So what to know there is vision boards are coming up big time about, you know, making a vision board. What are the things you hope to have in the future? And we did touch on that with the Eclipse Sandwich show. It's kind of like, well, what do you want to have happen? You know, just sit and dream about your life with this person, or your new job, or your new business, or if you could live in the ultimate location, you know, what would it be? And I see a lot of way showers revealing things. Like the other day, I like to watch Darling Desi. I like the way she puts her shows together. And she says, oh, one of my dreams is coming true. And I was like, I already know what this is. She wanted to move to Europe for a while, and so she came on. That's what it is. She came on. She's like, ever since I was a younger girl, I don't think she's that old now. It's like late 20s or 30. She's like, I wanted to go live in Europe. And so her and her husband decided to move to England, the English countryside. And I was like, oh, that's one of the places I would consider going. So you start to see things around you mirroring either potentials for your future, or things that may have come up from past dreams and goals and wishes that you wanted. And it's like, do you still want those things? Would I still, oh, my son is driving me crazy. Hold on, I'll just shut the door. Would you still want to move to the English countryside? You know, if the opportunity came up, and I'm like, yeah, I'd still consider it, you know? So those are the things, like during this Mercury retrograde, that may come up as well, because we're already in the shadow period. And Mercury retrograde starts on April 1st. It ends on, I think, the 24th or the 25th of April. And as these things come up again, things from like past vision boards, you know, do you want to get rid of those? Do you want to delete those and start over? Like, now's the time to do that. As things start showing up in your reality, you know, you start seeing that couple, like I did say KJP, was it Kyle James Patrick or whatever, with the one with the really cool, like, expensive sweaters and all that. And it was him and his wife. It was their, of all things, the number 222 is just showing up all over the place for me, all over. But him and his wife had their 22nd wedding anniversary, and I'm like, do I want that? I don't know if I still do I have 22 years left in my life. I don't even know. Would I want that lifelong person? Yeah, you betcha. Still want that. So still on my vision board. So, you know, that my person, my one. So it's time to reassess those vision boards. Maybe go back. I have old ones out there on like Pinterest boards, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should go review those and delete them if they no longer apply. Do some energetic cleansing around any energy work you may have done in the past to create lists or things that maybe are no longer pertinent to you. Okay. Point number 2. Oh, well, the whole deck? No, I'm just going to put all that back. What else? What's your point number 2? Because you said you had 3 points, and one of them was for twin flames. The Magician, Let me get closer to the camera. The Magician is making me laugh. And the Ace of Swords. So whenever I think of the Ace of Swords, I think of Archangel Michael. And we have the Magician, which is card number 1, which is also an ace. So it's like an 11. It's like an 11 or a 1-1. And the cards. Let's get the book for the. Did I read from the book for the other one? No, I didn't. Let me just stare at this Magician card for a little bit. Because when I look at the, sorry, I guess you might want to stare at it too. There's like a wicked glare. The lighting, hold on. Let me see if I can make this lighting any brighter above me. Oh, no. In this Magician card, and I don't think the camera's going to focus on it. The cards that he's using look like they have 8s on the back or an infinity symbol on the back of the card deck. And of course, the Magician has all the tools that they need, right, to make their, quick focusing on, it's trying to focus, I think, on Kyanite Fairy Wing. All the tools they need, the Athames and the, the fire and the water chalice and the earth. There's that pentacle on the table. He's like, I do see he's like throwing all the cards out, like, fall where you might, fall where you may. For this one, let's read from, my son is singing so loud. Kyanite Fairy Wing. Let's read a little bit. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see, for Kyanite Fairy Wing. Chapter 21, the Wraith closes in. Kyanite wasn't sure if she could feel any worse, she thought, as she dropped her cell into her bag and got up to go inside. And now to plan this outing into the dark wood. How was she going to approach this with respect and dignity for the both of them? She still didn't know if Perry was the thief, although there was evidence to prove it. Kyanite still felt like she had doubts. Okay, and I'm going to have to pause this and run and get something from the mailbox before it freezes. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here's what happened. I knew this was what it was, but we actually got magical mail. This is my Sage Goddess stuff, but I want to open it with you all just to show, just as it's supposed to be part of the show. So this is stuff, I feel a little bit like we're repeating some of the Eclipse Sandwich messages. So I think they're just going to carry into April, and we just keep doing some of these parrot, Spirit calls it parrot guidance, where you hear some of the same things again, just to help reinforce the fact that, just to help reinforce things, just to help give you that extra bit of confirmation about stuff. So we read that Wraith coming in, chapter 21, Kyanite kind of doubting herself. Apply this to your situation, whether you're manifesting a person, place, or thing or something. She's kind of doubting herself. Something is coming in April, this magical Ace of Swords. I do feel like it is tangenting off of the new soul contracts thing. I told you I see the Ace of Swords usually as an Archangel Michael card. And in order for new soul contracts to get going, there has to be some divine intervention sometimes to make things happen. I'm cutting this little envelope open. But on the way to the mailbox, so I think this has been your journey so far for this person, place, or thing that you've been trying to manifest. I went downstairs. I had to put my coat on, my hat on, my boots. I walked out to the mailbox and got the package. My intent was to come back upstairs and film this with you all, show you the package, But then I noticed like the dog's water bowl needed some water, and I had to give the dog some water. And then I had to do a couple of other things before I could get back up here. So I think there's been a series of just life circumstances, just life coming in. What you feel like are delays and setbacks, but we're really like spirit purposely putting stuff in your path just to kind of keep you busy, because you had to get to a certain point. They're saying you had to get us to a certain point in the astrology to where you could manifest what you wanted. And it sounds like, here we go again with the time is now, but it sounds like that this time is coming up. This planet's aligning, and this perfect storm of astrological alignments to help guide you forward. So I do want to see what's in the magical mail. I know what I ordered, but they do also put sometimes an intuitively chosen thing in there. So maybe they didn't this time. Let's see. What's on the card? Let's see if I can get it in front of the camera. Oh, look. Your art is your legacy. We just talked about legacy. And this is her little classes. Oh my God, not again. Hold on. Kids maybe coming up. This is her little certificate. This is Athena's little. So Athena, I used to take her classes way back at the beginning of my journey. And it's kind of come full circle now to where like she's still doing classes. This has been 11 years since I started like working with her. I was in her groups like maybe for a couple of years at the beginning of my journey. And then some stuff happened and I just didn't feel like it was kind of the right place for me anymore. But I continued to, I realized that the magician she is, and I love still, like she's a master perfume maker. So I love getting all of her, I like get little samples of her perfumes. But she's still doing classes, right? And so some of you, that may have been your dream to put something together for other people. No matter what it is it, is it books or cards or healing or art or music or whatever it is, what you're doing, what you're building is a lifelong thing. It's something that's supposed to last and go beyond your current lifetime. And that's what I think these new contracts are that we're going to be making. Whenever we get the chance to make them, whenever Spirit comes in and gives us the chance to make them, is this whole legacy stuff that's going to benefit future generations, but it's done now in a way of conscious awareness, to where you're not going to make some weird blood oath or contract or whatever that's going to inadvertently affect hundreds of people, or your whole ancestral line. Like, you're very conscious of what you're doing now. And that is the type of relationships you're going to be bringing in. You're going to be bringing in people or places or things that align with you now. The new you that you are now. Oh, they don't do that anymore. They used to put like an intuitively selected perfume. So they don't do that anymore. That's okay. I think it's not in there. Yeah. It's just the ones that I ordered. So they usually put another thing in there, but they didn't. But anyway, these are just the little perfumes that I ordered. My favorite scents, Magic. It smells like summertime. It has strawberry smell to it. Mega Money, which has been a classic of Athena's, and it smells so good when you wear it. You just feel like you're living in luxury, wealthy living. It's my wealthy living concept. And then Bonfire, which is a more of a autumnal. I don't think so. It's a Beltane one for me. It smells like a bonfire. It smells like marshmallows roasting around a bonfire. And when I put it on, I can get a lot done because it's very fiery. Oh, make sure I'm not missing anything in this package. Nope, that's it. All right, so magical mail comes in. Something comes in to shift the course of your journey in the month of April. Let's get something from City of Dreams. We need clarification on that. This is City. You Nogs know this. You Nogs know this. You Noggins know this. what else do we want to say? Oh, this must be my twin flame. So this is the extra, I had a feeling it was. So this is the extra confirmations for twin flames out there. Everything's coming back into balance. I mean, it's two 11s. Look, 11, the 11, the ace, the 1 and the 1, 11, 11. These are twin flame numbers. On the bottom of the deck, there's that bodega cat again about just being chill, just going with the flow, just being patient when the time to act is nigh. When the time to act is nigh, you will know. What's up with that? Let's just see then. Since we are getting some twin flamey stuff, let's pull in. So let's just get, all right, so the Three of Swords fell off the top of the Pastel Journey deck. And that card came out this morning. Let's get one from the Final Rose. The Final Rose Tarot with my rose. What else do we want to say for this? Oh, it's the Fool card, the contestant. I'm going to read from the book because I like this book. That's the Fool card. That's new beginnings. I do want to, sorry, I'm like all over the place today, kicking the tripod. Let's read the contestant, and then let's just explore the Three of Swords for a moment, why that's there. The contestant says, the contestant embarks on a new journey of love with hope set high for adventure and romance. You're worth, the book says you're worth the world, but I heard you're worth the wait. But what's in store? Get ready, take a leap of faith, and trust that the world has brought you here for the right reasons. Adventure, beginnings, potential, readiness, and free-spiritedness. I think you've had to pull a lot of swords out of the stone. The stone in this case being your heart. If we go back to the Excalibur, Grail, quest for the Holy Grail and Grail codes, which has been coming up all over the place today. You've had to find your power by basically freeing your heart. Every time you pulled a sword from the stone of your heart, you released your heart a little bit more. And those swords, with the Three of Swords, are always about, heartbreak, somebody hurt you, past experiences, broke your heart, whether they were people or situations. And all this time, you've been, working through that. It's really the same message as the first little grouping, but I feel like it's very specific for relationships and also for the twin flames that are here as well. Not everybody is on the twin flame journey, so just slot this in where it fits best for you. But the twin flame journey really is a lot about doing just that. Finding your own inner truth, knowing who you are, coming into your own power, aligning your energies, knowing what you want so that you can align to somebody else who mirrors and reflects those things back to you. Coming into your highest and greatest good that you want for yourself, choosing yourself first over maybe some other things that weren't so good for you in the past. Maybe they were people, maybe they were jobs, maybe they were family members, maybe they were friends. It's different for everybody, but you've spent this time just keeps coming up with this emphasis. They keep having me say the word time with this weird emphasis on it. I'm feeling that as I'm saying it. This time has been well spent. You feel like it's been a long time. Believe me, I do too. Like, it's been a long time that I've been working on this, but they're saying that that's all relative in the overall scheme of things. A stitch in time saves nine. it came up in a reading I was watching the other day too. And I see that as kind of like to spirit, yeah, they're giving me big chills. To spirit, has just been a little stitch in the overall timeline of your beingness. And saves 9, well, here we go again. What you're doing now, the work that you've been doing, could save ancestral lines way, like saves 9. You know, maybe it just goes so far into the future, you can't even see how far into the future it goes. You don't even know how far ahead that you've actually done some good soul work, and you're going to be, again, back to the legacy. Your art is your legacy. This work you've been doing on yourself is, I see it as like an art. It is like some sort of art form. It is magic with the magician and with the help of your guides, with the help of your soul contract, with which Archangel Michael is, you know, kind of in charge of helping you make sure you're living up to your soul contract. All those things have been guiding you down this path. And now you get to reap the rewards of all that you've done. All right, we're going to get just a couple more cards to close this out. We want to look at the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. Anything else we want these friends to know? I think this is the Sun card. The Sun card. You are ready to shine. You are ready to put all this work behind you. This is just another confirmation of that. And you know, I think for some of you, like this parrot guidance, I don't know what to say about it. It's like there's almost like nothing more to say. Like the guidance has been so repetitive lately that it's like the future is yours for the making and for the taking. And to look into the energetics of April, it's kind of like April is your oyster. It's you choose what the energetics of April are going to be. I do really feel that moving forward. I feel like now you choose. Okay, you've gone to the point, it's kind of like, I don't even need to necessarily, I like to watch the readings anyway. I like to sit and hang with some of my favorite readers, but it's kind of like you don't even necessarily need this guidance anymore because you understand that the energy is what you make of it. It doesn't matter what's happening necessarily in the astrology. It doesn't matter what's happening on the world stage. It doesn't matter what's happening to the people around you. You make your own April energy forecast now. You are such a magician now that it doesn't matter even what this reading says. It's just really back, we're in Mercury retrograde shadow, just basically regurgitating some of the things we've already said many times over, not just in the eclipse sandwich reading. And so when the guidance gets repetitive like that, it's kind of like your April energy forecast is what you want to make of it. You want to be high vibe, then you're going to do what it takes to be high vibe. Do you want it to be a month of, pick a project? Because I said to myself when I was drawing out my April calendar, I'm like, oh, wow, pick a project. There was like so many to choose from all of a sudden. All these things opening up, all these options opening up. It's kind of like, man, I guess I just want to choose the one I'm going to have the most fun with because I don't want to just spin my wheels on something that's not fun, right? I don't want to do that. There's all this stuff going on in the astrology. Can I control the astrology and what it's doing? No. Is it working for me? Well, Spirit says it is, so I have to trust that it is. This disbelief, this doubt, I think you've done a lot to clear disbelief and doubt of your situation, of where you're going. All you can do, I think there's maybe still some sniggles of that because we were in chapter 21 of Kyanite Fairy Wing and she still had doubts. Was it 21 or 12? I don't even remember now. But there could still be some lingering, sniggling things, but I think you deal with them quickly now. you realize like, oh, doubt's creeping in. Doubt is going to take me down a path I don't want to go down. Just like yesterday with the patience. My patience was, I don't know what, I think I was to the point where I was like, here we are, another eclipse. I'm still sitting here on the couch alone. I'm still, doing the same things. Like I want my new timeline. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move on. And I got a little bit, like a tiny little bit, like, come on now. I told you I'm ready to take action. There's dichotomy of energy. And Spirit's like, you're just going to have to wait longer, a little bit longer. And they threw out this, patience card with this, Faye, where is he? He's called Geo the Slow. And so I have him on my altar space because he's just content to like watch mountains grow and watch forest trees, go from sapling to mature tree. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can be that patient. I don't think, maybe it's just part of being a human. We're just not, it's just a very challenging. But maybe that's part of some modern day society thing. Maybe in Patreon, I want to dive into, we're doing the scavenger hunt in the Inner Sanctum. And I want to start diving into the Scrolls of Mu, which is one of the shadow books from Kyanite Fairy Wing. That's one of the books we're using. And maybe, everybody's about this slow living thing. And it's like, oh, it's just retraining ourselves maybe to just, I don't know, just be and just go slow. And everything doesn't have to happen in a New York minute. Is a New York minute faster than a regular minute? Probably so. Right? I don't want to go down I remember when I was in the corporate world, because they did expect everything in a New York minute. Like you had to, if they pinged you, they wanted you to ping right back again. It's like, well, you got 10 pings on your desktop computer. It's like, who am I going to answer first? So, just take a deep breath, just going with the flow, back to Taoist principles of flowing, taking it easy, getting out in nature, allowing these things to come to you, enjoying your life, knowing the work you're doing has not been for naught. It's been very, very fruitful and will benefit many generations to come. And so make your April what you want to make of it. Do what lights you up, like that sun card. Do what makes your heart happy. Don't answer to anybody else around that. If somebody says they want you to do something in the month of April that you're like, do I really want it? I find myself even more so now, even when Spirit gives me like an option, I step back and I'm like, do I really want to do that? And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. But it does take that, taking a step back and not just jumping right away into things. Just because, you got a download or a hit or whatever. It's kind of like, I go like, do I really want to do that? I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then you're fully supported by your guides. So that's the month of April. It's your oyster. It's your time to shine. It's your time to move forward and create a new timeline. There you go. That's my incantation for the month. All right, my friends, I think that is all we have to share. Oh, we did say we were going to get an Archangel. Let's get an Archangel Michael card. Let's just see if he has anything else he wants to share before I let us go. Let's see. Angels of healing are with you. A time of healing is about to bless your life. Accept Archangel Raphael's emerald green light while I enhance your strength. So we've got green and blue energy. Green and blue. Yeah, I guess green and blue coming in. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael. There's a big heart in the background. It's card number 2 for my twin flames again. So maybe there's some heart healing coming in, but it's a good old time of heart healing. It's a blessing. It's emerald green light, which also makes me think of Lemurian light codes. And so right now you just may be in this time of, enhancing your strength. You may be pulled back to just take care of yourself. Because when go time comes to take action on something that you've been wanting to do, and there's that divine intervention that might be trying to push you forward, and you're like, do I really want to do that? Yep, still really want to do that. Then you want to have, you want to be strong and healthy and rested up for all of that. Starting a new timeline takes a lot of energy and a lot of strength and a lot of courage. So rest up until then, friend. Go watch a mountain grow or a sapling turn into a big tree while you're waiting. And many blessings to all of you. And we will see you all again soon. Take care.